In this video, I am going to discuss about the preliminary and conceptual idea about heat shock protein as well as heat shock factor. In my last video, I have already discussed about the sigma factor and what is the relationship between the heat shock protein with the sigma factor. The sigma factor, this is the subunit of the RNA polymerase enzyme, which is responsible for the identification of particular or specific promoter of the gene. It means that sigma factor is responsible for the initiation of transcription process or the synthesis of protein. If sigma factor is responsible for the synthesis of heat shock protein, then the sigma factor is known as heat shock factor, mainly sigma factor E and H. The sigma factor E and H, which I have already discussed in my last video. Okay, so here we will discuss about what is the meaning of heat shock protein and the heat shock factor, as well as we discuss how accidentally heat shock protein actually discovered and what is the function of the heat shock protein. Then after we discuss the naming process and the classification of heat shock protein. Then after we discuss upregulation of heat shock protein in stressful condition. The heat shock protein which is transcriptionally regulated and the regulation which is known as the upregulation. It means that inside the cell heat shock protein level which goes in optimum level or which increase suddenly during the stress condition. The level of the number or the concentration of heat shock protein which increase in stressful condition, and such type of regulation is known as the off-regulation process or the off-regulation. So mainly we will discuss here how the mechanism of off-regulation of the heat shock protein in stressful condition. And application, there are several applications, but in this video we only mention the some of the headings or the some of the category in which heat shock protein is applied, but it needs more time for the discuss of the application of the heat shock protein. In my other video I will discuss about the application of heat shock protein in future. So start, what is the meaning of heat shock protein? In stressful condition, from bacterium to human. In stressful condition means in hostile condition, means in extreme heat, extreme cold, ultraviolet ray, hypoxia, inflammation or the infection. So any type of hostile condition, any type of stressful condition from bacterium to human, some of the proteins is synthesized or some of the protein, the level or the concentration of some of the protein will increase and which inhibit the synthesis of other protein. These proteins is known as the heat shock protein. So in stressful condition, actually in stressful condition, in high temperature, the unfolding of protein, the degradation of protein occurs. As a result, accumulation of damaged protein inside the cell which also occur. So accumulation of damaged protein, degradation of protein which stimulate the activation of sigma factor E and the sigma factor H. This is the two example of the sigma factor which mainly appears at the time of stressful condition, and sigma factor E which is also known as the sigma factor 24 and sigma factor H which is also known as the sigma factor 32. And these sigma factor H, actually this sigma factor, it produces or it release, it activate in the time of heat shock response. So the sigma factor releasing or the activation of sigma factor E and the sigma factor H, these are the part of the heat shock response. So when the sigma factor E and sigma factor H activate, okay, so there are different types of sigma factors. So these are the two main example, and which produce the more and more heat shock protein. So sigma factor E or sigma factor H, in case of E. coli, they synthesize a new type of protein, or the new type of protein means the certain protein, the level of certain protein which goes increase during the stressful condition, which is known as the heat shock protein. Such heat shock protein which has different functions. So such heat shock protein, it acts as the chaperone, which act as chaperone. So as you know that the chaperone, the main role of the chaperone is the folding of the protein, and it ensure the correctness, the correct folding of the protein. So heat shock protein which act as the chaperone, and it try to refold of the denatured protein, as well as it is stabilizing the new synthesized protein. So newly synthesized protein which also stabilized by the heat shock protein, as well as those proteins already degraded or already denatured or damaged, they also refolded by the action of heat shock protein. And such heat shock protein also prevent the unwanted protein accumulation inside the cell. It also stabilizes the partially unfolded protein. So heat shock protein which try to stabilize the partially unfolded protein. So heat shock protein here act as chaperone and doing these four function, like first is the refold the denatured or already unfolded protein. Second, stabilize the newly synthesized protein. Third one is the prevent the unwanted protein accumulation inside the cell. And fourth one is the stabilizes partially unfolded protein. And such heat shock protein also act as the proteases. If the degraded protein or the damaged protein unable to refold, then heat shock protein which lyses, which degrade the unfolded protein. So by such method, heat shock protein reduces the level of unfolded protein. It reduces the accumulation of damaged protein inside the cell. So this is the actual function of the heat shock protein. So here the sigma factor E and H. So these sigma factor responsible for the production of heat shock protein here. Now these sigma factor actually known as the heat shock factor or heat shock transcriptional factor. So we have already discussed about what is the heat shock protein. In stressful conditions, cell produces certain kind of protein, and such protein which also prevent the other synthesis of other protein, these are known as the heat shock protein. Actually such heat shock protein it first discovered in the heat condition, or in response of heat the cell produces some of the proteins, that's why this is known as the heat shock protein. But after that it is also observed that such heat shock protein also found in any type of stressful condition. Okay, and heat shock factor, the sigma factor, those sigma factor responsible for the synthesis of heat shock protein, these are known as the heat shock factor. And such heat shock protein which act like this as a chaperone or as a proteases enzyme. So these are the function of the heat shock protein. Now let me erase this. Now I will discuss about the discovery, naming and the classification, and let me write something here to reduce the length of the video. I have already discussed about what is the meaning of the heat shock protein and the heat shock factor, then the function of heat shock protein. Now come to the discovery of heat shock protein. Actually the heat shock protein accidentally it was discovered. Okay, so in the year 1962, Italian geneticist he reported that some of the patterns of puffing is appeared in the chromosome of Drosophila when he induced heat and 2,4 2,4-dinitrophenol. So because of the treatment of heat and 2,4-dinitrophenol. So the heat and 2,4-dinitrophenol which induced the puffing pattern in the chromosome of Drosophila. Then after which leads to the identification of heat shock protein. So the relationship is established, the patterns of puffing which represent the expression of heat shock protein. So in the year 1974, three scientists, Teixeira, Mitchell and Trace, reported that such heat shock protein, which also known as the stress protein, because in stressful condition cell produces some of the protein to protect the cell from the stressful condition. That's why this is known as the stress protein, or actually this protein discovered in heat condition, that why this is known as the heat shock protein. But subsequently such protein discovered in different stressful condition. That's why all the stressful condition, all stressful protein or stress protein which is known as the heat shock protein. So actually heat shock protein, it first discovered by the experiment of the Italian geneticist. He reported that some of the puffing pattern appeared in the chromosome of Drosophila, and which leads to the discovery of heat shock protein and such patterns of puffing which represents the synthesis or expression of heat shock protein. Now come to the naming and classification. So here the naming and classification is, in my last video I have already told about the naming of sigma factor. The sigma factor named on the basis of their molecular weight. Here also the heat shock protein, they also named as on the basis of their molecular weight. Suppose that the heat shock protein 60 means here the molecular weight is 60 kilodalton. So those having the 70 kilodalton, they are named as heat shock protein 70, and those having suppose that 90 kilodalton weight, and such protein is known as the heat shock protein 90. So this is the on the basis of molecular weight you can classify or you can name the heat shock protein. And there is the very small protein also present which is 8 kilodalton, and such heat shock protein, this is the very small heat shock protein, this is known as the small heat shock protein. And such small heat shock protein which is known as the ubiquitin, this is the QB, is the ubiquitin, and this ubiquitin which act as the proteases, and is responsible for the protein degradation. It means that such small heat shock protein or ubiquitin which act as the protein degradation. Okay, it act as the protein degradation. So this is the naming. So naming actually on the basis of molecular weight. Now the classification. So actually they are classified into five conserved classes. So what are these classes? So heat shock protein, they are classified 5 conserved classes. These are heat shock protein 33 class, heat shock protein 60, heat shock protein 70, heat shock protein 90 and heat shock protein 100. So these are the 5 classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 5 conserved classes of the heat shock protein, and beside these there is the another class of the heat shock protein which is very small. They have the very small molecular weight, and this is the small heat shock protein. For example, ubiquitin. Okay, so this is the naming and the classification of heat shock protein. Now come to the very important of regulation of heat shock protein in stressful condition. Now come to the up regulation of heat shock protein in stressful condition. So what is the meaning of up regulation? So actually heat shock protein very low concentration present inside the cell. In extreme stressful condition, the cell start to increase the synthesis of heat shock protein. It means that during the stressful condition, the heat shock protein, the concentration of heat shock protein goes up. This is known as the up regulation of heat shock protein. Here I will discuss only the sigma factor E. Suppose that this is the outer cell membrane. Suppose that this is the outer cell membrane. Okay, suppose that this is the outer cell membrane. So this is the outer cell membrane, and here this is the inner cell membrane. Suppose that this is the inner cell membrane. So in between outer cell membrane and the inner cell membrane, this is the inner cell membrane. So here the cytoplasm present, and this region is known as the periplasmic region. So suppose that this is the periplasm. This is the periplasmic area or the region, and this region, this is the cytoplasmic area. This is the cytoplasmic area. Okay, so here the inner cell membrane which contains two proteases enzyme. One is the TEGS. So suppose that this is the one enzyme, intramembrane DEGS, and another is the RSEP. Another is the RSEP. Suppose that this is another RSEP. So these are the two protease enzyme present, intramembrane proteins or the protease enzyme present in the inner cell membrane. So these protease enzyme, it has one of the domain here. This domain is known as PDZ. Okay, this is the PDZ. So in stressful condition, accumulation of protein occur in periplasmic area. In stressful condition, the protein does not fold properly. That's why it does not enter into the outer cell membrane, and such proteins which deposited here. So the accumulation of such outer membrane protein which activate the DEGS. So when outer membrane protein, the C terminus of outer membrane protein touches PDZ domain of DEGS protease enzyme, it get activate and it cleave the anti-sigma factor protein. So another anti-sigma factor which present here, and this is known as the RSEA. So here suppose that this is the anti-sigma factor. So this is known as the RSEA. This is the anti-sigma factor. Why it is known as anti-sigma factor? Because actually the sigma factor which present remains attached one of the domain. This is domain is known as the domain which present cytoplasmic area. This domain is known as the anti-sigma domain. This is the ASD. So this is the domain on which sigma factor E is attached here. Now here sigma factor E, it is inactive because it attached with the anti-sigma factor, that is RSEA. So when outer membrane protein accumulate at the periplasmic area because of the stressful condition, because of the heat shock or the stress shock, the protein becomes damaged and accumulating in periplasmic area. When the C terminus of outer membrane protein touches the domain PDZ, then DEGS, it get activated, and as a result it cleave the another domain of RSEA. So this domain which present towards periplasmic area, so here cleavage or the cleave occurs because of the activation of DEGS. It cleave the domain towards the periplasmic area. Now when the first cleavage occurs here, so this is the first cleavage. So the first cleavage which activate the RSEP, this is another protease enzyme. So this RSEP, when the one domain of the RSEA when released at the periplasmic area, and then the RSEP, it get activate. So it get activate. Now this RSEP, it causes the cleavage, the second cleavage, and it release the ASD domain and the sigma factor E. This is the second cleavage. So second cleavage occurred by the RSEP. So this is the second cleavage which releases ASD sigma anti-sigma domain plus sigma factor E complex, okay, to the cytoplasmic area. So this region, now the sigma factor is released when another ATP dependent protease complex or the enzyme degrade the ASD, this domain. So this domain, it is degraded by one of the ATP dependent protease enzyme. This is the CLPXP. This is the another protease enzyme which degrade the ASD. So this is the ASD and causes the releasing of sigma factor E. Now this sigma factor which bind to the core enzyme and form the RNA polymerase enzyme, and which identify the appropriate promoter of the heat shock protein. This type of regulation is known as the off regulation of heat shock protein in stressful condition. So in stressful condition, accumulation of protein occurs at the periplasmic area. So when the protein more and more accumulate here, when the C terminus of outer membrane protein touches the PDZ domain of the DEGS protease enzyme, then this protease enzyme get activated and which cause the first cleavage and release the one of the domain towards the periplasmic area of RSE protein, anti-sigma factor protein. Then when the first cleavage occurs, then it is sensed by RACP, another protease enzyme which also present. This is the intramembrane protease enzyme which cause the second cleavage. So second cleavage which release ASD, anti-sigma domain with sigma factor E. So now this complex again it is digested by, or the anti-sigma domain it is digested by the ATP dependent protease enzyme CLPXP, and then releasing of sigma factor E occurs, and now this sigma factor E which will bind to the core enzyme and form the complete RNA polymerase enzyme and which start the synthesis of heat shock protein. So the level of heat shock protein, the concentration of heat shock protein which goes up, this is known as the upregulation of heat shock protein in stressful condition. This is one of the example of the heat shock protein or the heat shock factor sigma factor E. Now come to the application of heat shock protein. So till date it is not clear in which field actually heat shock protein works. Okay, so there are several fields heat shock protein is applied for the experimental process. So these heat shock protein which is using for the treatment of cancer as vaccine, okay, and these heat shock protein also it is used for the therapeutic treatment of cancer, as well as such heat shock proteins also applied in agriculture field, and such heat shock proteins also applied for the treatment of autoimmune diseases. If possible, then I will make another video regarding the application of heat shock protein. Thank you for watching.